Hi, welcome to part 2 of my Pokemon Shining Pearl series. I don't want to recap, so just watch my first video before this one. I have no clue why you'd click on the second part of something first, but that's none of my business. Since the economy is broken, I apparently spent all my money on the Pikachu hoodie, so now I'm broke. In the middle of the city, and all I have is this awesome hoodie and my buddies. Average 13-year-old's experience. So, like any average 13-year-old, I decided to go to the mines to find treasure to sell. While I'm down there, I decide to grind a little and try to find a Gibble. With no such luck, I head up. I find Dawn in front of the gym. She tells me to run aside because she wants Big Brother to become super strong. I head into the gym expecting weights and 7 Stairmasters. But when I walk in, I see a bunch of sliding doors. These sliding doors, I had to push from the side. I don't see why. Because the doors were shorter than me, and I could have just grabbed the top and pulled on them, but instead I decided to follow the rules. After expertly using my puzzle expertise to fight every single trainer and make it to Maylene after a half hour, during this time, Rocky fainted, which made things hard. I couldn't remember if the puzzle resets when you leave the gym, so I just had to deal with it. Editor's note, it does. Before the Maylene fight, I teach Spork Volt Switch and Bug's Shockwave in case things get antsy. My original plan was to use Rocky, but since he was knocked out, I used a noble and great strategy. I used Double Team 7 times and then used Wing Attack. Lucario was a problem. Even with max evasion, Thanos was OHKO'd by a Drain Punch. Then Gargoyle was killed. At this point, I only had Goomy and Bugs. Then Goomy was killed. Then Bugs was killed. I lost to Lucario, and I have to do the puzzle again. At this point, my sanity had jumped out the window and into the road in wild traffic, so I decided to go to the Safari Zone. After getting bored of that, I went back to challenge the buff lady once again. On the way back, Gargoyle evolved and Thanos learned Aerial Ace. That made the fight easier. I beat her after that. Just kidding! I lost again. I now have to resort to the one thing that can destroy my opponents. Massively over-leveling! Basically, if I get a really good ground type, i.e. Torterra, Lucario stands 0 chance. Also, I've had to do this puzzle twice now, so it shouldn't take as long. After wiping out the entire population of Girafarig and Ponyta, Rocky evolves and I head into the gym. At this point, I'm confused. On all my other files on Diamond, Platinum, Pearl, and another Shining Pearl, Maylene was a breeze, but for some reason, this lady keeps sweeping my team. I give my team a quick pep talk, and we head in. Here's a detailed animation of what happened. I leave the gym and find Dawn outside the door whining because, and I quote, she dropped her toys and some big kids took them. She wants her, quote, big brother to beat them up for her. So instead of going to the next gym or Taco Bell, the little gremlin Dawn insists I break into a military base to get her toys back. After Dawn forced me to fight the cable company guards, Spork evolves into the big lion thing he was meant to be. Apparently, the guards at the front had her DS and dish soap, so I didn't have to storm the military base. I teach Fly to Thanos and go on with my life. Before I head into the water gym, I'd like to talk about this gym puzzle. I really like this gym puzzle. I like all of the water gym puzzles after Gen 1. I especially like the Paldea one, though it is pretty stupid. They should have made it something less valuable. They give some random kid that they find off the side of the road this rich chef guy's wallet. Do you know how easy it would be to use that? It would just set you for life, and these people would be none the wiser. On one of my 15 Pokemon Violet files, I just went to the gym, got the wallet, and left to do everything else before that challenge. My favorite gym puzzle is the grass one in Galar. My least favorite one is the fire one from Kanto. Anyway, I make it into the gym only to see that the place is basically flooded. I see a fat guy in a mask at the back of the building and speculate why I can't just fly over with Thanos or swim over with Goomy. After beating up 2 children and 2 fat guys, I make it to the goofy sumo guy. After a quick Google search, I figure out that his first Pokemon is going to be Gyarados. So I put Spork at the top of my party and begin the fight. I use Volt Switch on Gyarados, killing it in 1 hit, and I switch into Rocky because I predict he's going to bring out Quagsire. He does, and I use Mega Drain to again knock it out in 1 hit. Floatzel is more of a problem. It has Ice Fang, which is the most annoying moves for it to have. After thinking for a bit, I send out Spork and use Charge twice. I then use Volt Switch to finish it off. Afterward, Gumi evolves, whereas I speculate if I should rename it Gudra. After that debacle, thesaurus.com is going hard today, I go to the Great March to get defog and head to the Heart Home City so I can beat the gym and do a goofy odd dance with Rocky. Unfortunately, my plans are foiled when I try to follow a cable guy because Barry comes and decides he wants to have a battle. Hi. Who are you? I'm Barry, your best friend. Who? After sweeping his team and wondering why he still only has a Starly, I continue to follow the cable guy. He decides to battle me with his single level 28 Glammeow, only for me to win and him to run again. I find Cynthia, who wants me to give the ibuprofen to a bunch of Psyduck. I reluctantly agree and head to Heart Home. I figure out that the gym leader still isn't there, so I head to Salacion Town to help the Psyduck. While I'm there, I check on my Pokemon in the daycare who have only been raced by A levels. Barrick, my Shieldon, was level 1 before. After that small disappointment, I make it to the Psyduck who are screaming their heads off. I make the drug trade and the Psyduck head off. Cynthia drops by, gives me a weird old charm to give to her grandma. I beat up a bunch of Ninjalinas and go into the fog. Thanos comes out, does a little dancey dance, and clears the fog. I fight a lady with the grottle, Thanos evolves, and I continue on. At this point, I'm a little concerned and confused that Bugs hasn't evolved yet. I'm aware it's a friendship evolution, but I caught it at Eternal Forest at the beginning of the game. I let it follow me around for now so I can become better friends with it. I figured the best way to do that was to dance. So after I return the charm, blah 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 blah, I go back to Heart Home City. I don't really feel like doing the gym, so I do a contest with all my Pokemon. After that experience, I go to the gym, solve all the 4th grade math problems. Have I ever mentioned I'm good at math? And make it to Fantina. Might I just point out that the sprite for Fantina is terrifying? Not when you go into the battle, but before that. Anywhoozles. The fight with Fantina was easy, lots of biting. Rocky happened to learn Synthesis during the battle, making it a walk in the park. Which, ironically, is what I did afterward. Bugs also evolved after the battle, giving it that poetic touch. Before I went to the park, Cynthia came by to thank me, monologue, and run off to Walmart to buy Nutella. At this point, I'm pretty happy with my team, but it feels like something is missing. And that something is Barrick. Now that Barrick has reached the age of level 10, he's finally ready to be trained, to be the best he ever was. I make it to Salacion Town. When I get there, I see the daycare is destroyed. I ask the old lady outside of the daycare what happened. She says that they were attacked by the cable company's boss, Cyrus, and his crew. She continued on, saying that they took every single Pokemon except one. They point to a Bronzor laying in the rubble, my Bronzor. I see the terrified look in his eyes, but the thing that makes me the most mad is that they took my child, Barrick. The woman says I can learn more about these people from the Canalave City gym leader and Professor Rowan. Cynthia told me earlier that Rowan and Dawn would be at the Canalave library, so Rowan could teach Dawn how to read. I head over to Canalave City and find Barry running around town. He sees me, immediately runs over, and begs me to battle him. I applaud him for finally having evolved his Starly, and I sweep his team yet again. I walk in front of the gym, unbeknownst to me that I will be facing the second most climactic battle of all. The most climactic battle, Dawn versus Clifford the Big Red Dog. Thanks for watching. Barrick the Shieldon being kidnapped didn't actually happen in the game, but I wanted to add a little bit of the Declan personality flair. I like this game and its plot, but I feel it adds a bit more. I'll see you in the next video.